I tell you, Frank?
It got late, and I didn't...
You got kids? You nail the window shut. You nail the motherfucking window shut, Frank, right?
No, I can't. Don't.
I don't know how you're doing this, but you're lying.
No. I swear to you, I'm not.
Real Enigmas and Theories back with another live stream. We're in Providence, Rhode Island tonight. Yes, indeed. We're gonna be cooking tonight, y'all. Let's jump into some shout outs. Yes, indeed. Debbie, Ebby, Bo, Ebby. Welcome to the live stream. Yes, indeed. Daryl Seymour saying good night to Debbie. Yes, thank you, Daryl. Yes. This guy explores. What's up, my peeps? Yes, indeed. What is up, my peeps? We're calling from Rhode Island tonight. Excited to see you, PM. Yes. Welcome to the live stream. Yes, indeed. Delcinia Dames Tucker, thank you so much for being the mod who looks after us all. Thank you. Yes, indeed. Welcome to the live stream, everybody. We're gonna be cooking tonight.
Hey, man, what's going on? What's going on, man? What the hell you doing?
Hey, you were late, man. I had to get started without you. I'm sorry. I just had to,
had to run to the bathroom real quick, man. You were out here that took over the shout outs and all this shit. What's going on, dog?
Oh,
we out here in Providence together out here, living it up, chilling, you know what I'm saying?
We're having a good time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We probably had the worst pizza I've ever had in my life just now, but outside of that, it is amazing out here. We're having a real fun time. Talking about From, we're going to be watching. This is the first time I've watched From with someone else who, enjoys watching the show, really. So I'm really excited for us to be running through it. I don't know who's going to talk more as we're watching it, but I'm very much excited to watch it tonight. I think it's going to be a really exciting episode.
Yes, indeed, it is. So let's get right back to where we were at. With the shout outs, we got the wonderful Del Senior in the building. We have Vince in the building. Daryl Seymour's here. Music Fancy is in the building. This guy Explores is in the building. Burrito, what's good? What's going on? How you been? We got Mish in the building. We got Bitey. What's going on, Bitey? Who else we got in here? Golden Child is in the building. Yes, indeed. We got Ebony is in the building. Good to see you. Yes, indeed. We here. Yes. I can't even say yes, indeed, and take myself seriously.
I didn't say in the building. I forgot to say in the building.
In the building.
When we practiced this, we forgot in the building. That should have been the first thing we talked about.
Yo. Man. Yo, this is funny. Yo, we got the man in black. And I'm looking at all the laughing in the chat going on. We got who else? We got Carrie is in the building.
Wait, look at Daryl's comment.
No shit, PM. Taran with the real voice.
It's not very good. Sorry, guys. It was pretty bad.
Yo, that shit was funny.
It felt wrong, but Real insisted. We're having a good time out here. It's all with love. It's all with fun.
Yo, shout out to everybody that's here. This ain't gonna be a real long one and everything. We just here to, let y'all know that we done linked up. We doing the research for the H.P. Lovecraft documentary. That's gonna be coming to y'all soon after it's done and everything. We're gonna be watching From tonight. So I don't do Taran.
Yeah. We haven't practiced it yet.
I gotta practice.
You gotta practice it.
I'm not good at the Brit voice. I gotta get that.
You'll do a better Brit voice than I did a real voice, I think, personally. I don't have, although to be fair, I don't have many catchphrases to copy.
Yo, that shit was too funny. Oh my goodness. Man. All right, yo. Hold on. So what we talking about tonight, Taran? What we getting into?
Yeah, well, I kind of wish we could fast forward in time and have watched episode 5 already so that we could discuss it. But I guess since we haven't seen it, it's going to be pretty late by the time we've watched it, and I'm already 5 hours ahead. What are people saying? Oh yeah, man. People.
Yo.
I guess people enjoyed it then. I don't know. It sounded really bad to me, but I guess some people found it funny.
No, that was funny. Yo, that was fun. This is a funny ass comment right here. Imagine if Fatima gives birth to a tarot card. Yo, we in here. If she gave birth to a big ass tarot card. And what if it talked? That would be funny as hell.
I mean, I would love to see every character as a tarot card on the show at some point, like an actual like illustration. That would be amazing. I wonder what artists they would hire to do that. They would have a great time. That would be so cool. I would love to see Colin Canning do a version of. He's the guy who does Victor's drawings. I would love to see like a Victor drawing tarot card. That would be pretty cool.
That would be crazy. Colin, if you out there and you can hear us, yo, make that happen. That's a dope fire card right there. If you did all the tarot cards, that would be sick.
If a polar bear shows up tonight, I'll be screaming your name, Taran. I don't think it's going to happen this early. I think it's going to happen at in the finale, just an extra WTF to mess with everyone right at the end with whatever the other big twist is. I think it'll be time travel of some kind. But I think that polar bear would be saved for like a WTF twist as well at the end.
I think that it's pretty dope that Mari referred to Fatima as Mama Bear.
Yeah, I was very happy.
And that was like right after we got off the live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, in my I also made the polar bear prediction in my full theory video that I did on the day episode 1 came out. Oh, Delcinia liked it. If Delcinia liked it, it was all worth it. That's all I can say.
Yes, indeed.
We called Delcinia earlier, but we couldn't hear you too well, Delcinia. Sorry about that. But we will call you on a different line another time, for sure. When maybe after this.
Luna Cascade.
GOT has a deck. Why not? I mean, it would be so. Can you imagine like Boyd as the Fool with his like, how he carries stuff in bundles all the time, following the Alsatian over a log.
Crazy.
You know, all the representations that we've seen on the show, maybe they would like freeze frame it, but illustrated to make it more obvious. That would be super cool, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
That would be expensive animation, I think, though. But
What's
still
going
pretty
on?
cool.
Jessica's in the building. How you doing, Jessica? We also have the wonderful Dana Marie. What's up? What is up, everyone? She said. What's going on? Oh, we have somebody new in here, the Alabaster Dragon. What a dope name. Okay. We got Bruce Lee in here. Yeah, so tonight,
what can we talk about?
I think we should talk about our From episode 5 theory. What do you think is going to happen?
I can't even remember what the
based on episode 4.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But what was the episode description? Tabitha gets used to her new surroundings. Well, that doesn't tell us much. I can't remember what else is said there.
That was so misleading, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that Tabitha was not going to come back. You know, I made a bet with Tony about it. I thought she was going off on some Da Vinci quest. I was kind of sad when she came back. I was like, wow, I completely misread that. But maybe it happens another time with another character. I don't know. But yeah, what's gonna happen next? Well, Victor Henry reunion, clearly. That'll be interesting. We've seen the trailer that shows that happening. So that's gonna be a heartbreaking scene. What else can we expect? Tabitha reunion with Jim. We know from the trailer as well that they discuss how Tabitha came back. They have a town meeting for what seems like the first time ever.
Do they run outside and get Randall off the thing at nighttime, or do they let him stay there until the sun?
No, of course they. Oh, right, yeah, no, they must let. Wow, they must leave him out there all night. I didn't even think about that.
Do they let him stay out there?
Yeah,
that would be fucked up.
They can't open the episode with them waiting to grab him.
What are they gonna do? Man. I mean,
they might just skip over it. We might not even see it.
The trend is every single episode is coming right after where we left off.
Well, what was the last scene in the last episode?
The last scene was him on the ambulance spitting up And I want to point
Yeah, they
something
look
out.
out the window. It's Donna and Boyd. They see the flashing lights. They open the curtains and they see him.
Okay.
That was the last scene. So it was still nighttime then.
Right. It was still nighttime.
So are we going to see them rescue him?
Are we going to see them run out there and rescue him?
I mean, they've kind of.
If Boyd doesn't break his legs to run out there and rescue that man, that's fucked up, y'all. And everybody that took up for Boyd for leaving Randall, like, I get what you're saying, that what else could he do? But you sitting up there telling a man that's chained to a wall, no man left behind.
Yeah.
And you left Randall behind. But see, okay, so here's another thing, right? For the Donna people that love Donna.
I mean, we all love Donna.
We all love Donna. But for the people that don't like when Donna is insinuated to be some sort of mole.
Yeah, the mole. People don't like Donna mole theory. Yeah.
Right. For the people that's on Team Donna, as far as the mole theory is concerned, I got something for you. The thing that really made me question Donna was her story of how she got there with her sister and what happened to her sister. And I've always said that we have not seen the monsters mess up nobody's face. But the wonderful CA 1983, who's on this channel, I don't know if she's in there or she's listening maybe, but she pointed out to me, we had a real good back and forth about all of that stuff. She was really coming with some heat. But she pointed out to me that they have now messed up Randall's face. So that does help Donna's story about where she came in. That was the thing that I thought was most suspicious about her, is her saying that they ripped the face off. Let me get this new member. Yeah. Nino Nev is in the building, has become a new member. Nino Nev, go ahead and celebrate with some of the new emojis that you have access to now. And everybody, go ahead and welcome the new member to the Magnify. Let's get it.
I mean, in my theory that I made, predicting a whole bunch of stuff that might happen in season 3 or 4, I talked about how the monsters would let Randall live because he's one of 3 options the boogeyman might possess: Julie, Marielle, and Randall. And then I think it eventually picks Marielle, right? That's my current theory, and then it's going to do some like creepy ballerina dancing because the actor for Marielle is like this amazing ballerina dancer. I've like gone back and watched some of her work, and it's just amazing. She's an excellent dancer. So I can imagine her doing some absolutely like really creative, I bet, creepy ballerina dancing to like, I don't know. Although maybe it's like the ballerina dancing that we've already seen. Sorry, I'm rambling.
No, man. I'm looking at the comments. Luna Cascade always coming with some heat. Luna. Always.
Cattree did say Cromwell wanted to change Boyd. Did he? When was that?
He said. Wow. He said this place wants to change you.
Wants to change. When was that?
Was it the? No, it was the Ghost Cattree that said that. The Ghost Cattree said that. He either said it in the sheriff's station or in the church.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Boyd is definitely changed. If he's leaving Randall behind, that's just something Boyd would not do. To make Boyd act out of character. That's right. That's something that, that would be insane. There was somebody
I'm
else
wrong,
that said
though.
something
The problem is I'm wrong. I thought that they would just let Randall live, basically. But instead, it looks like they left him for dead.
They've maimed him.
But it looked like they didn't think he was alive.
No, they put him up there on that thing alive.
You think they left him alive?
Yeah, they left him alive because that helps draw the wedge between the townspeople and Boyd.
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, that helps to draw the wedge. Yeah.
You just helped me realize something. Okay, so in my origin story.
Yo, by the way, this is so dope doing this right here with you live now.
We're not interrupting each other because there's no lag.
I just cut you off just now. I did that on purpose.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did because now I get to cut him off in purpose, in person.
Yeah.
I just tapped on the brother. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Now you go ahead. Get back to it. There's the gag. That was the gag.
All right, yeah. I mean, yeah. There's this character who's a rebel, basically. He was called Michael Joseph the blacksmith. That's why Jade's surname is Herrera, which means blacksmith, right? And he was a famous rebel, and I believe that John Cabot sort of takes him as a prisoner on his ship to Newfoundland. And I believe Randall sometimes represents this character.
Yo,
because
he
of
kind
his
of feels like that, like a rebel type character.
And the interesting thing is that basically the Randall's personality is how this Michael Joseph was described. This guy who was basically like just rude to everyone and like treated everyone. You know, he was I can't. They use some like old English word like prating. I think it's called a prating fellow. But it basically meant he would like complain about everything. Sort of call out anything. Sort of. It was kind of interesting. Anyway, sorry, but so maybe in the origin story he ends up rebelling again. This time, instead of against the English crown, maybe against the people, controlling the colony. So you're saying that you think later this season Randall will lead the townsfolk in?
Well, I think that Donna is actually the one that's trying to lead the rebellion against Boyd.
Donna's leading the rebellion against Boyd.
Not leading the rebellion, but she's the one that's trying to draw the wedge.
So you think Donna is a mole?
I think that Donna knows something.
Well, I agree with that.
Okay, and I never, I never said that she was definitely a mole, so to speak. But I definitely feel like she knows something and she's keeping some kind of secret.
Yes,
and she's working for somebody.
I agree with that, but I think she's basically on the good team.
Yo, Tony says this is so dope how this show can bring people together from different countries, races, and turn us all into family or familia. Yes, indeed.
Tony, I was very happy to see the term that I believe you coined, familia, being used by, I think it's the actress who plays DaCosta.
I heard her say that.
She says it right at the end.
She said
La
it right.
Familia.
Yes,
she even says the La part, which I thought basically says it was definitely from Tony's
most definitely
because of the La.
Yes, she shouted you out pretty much.
So I think we should all acknowledge that Tony may potentially have single-handedly, I think Real supported him in this campaign, but certainly Tony's original idea was to say, Fromily wasn't really working. But Familia made more sense, and I got to agree with him. I actually think it's better.
No, I mean,
Fromily wasn't bad.
I liked it. It wasn't bad.
It was very.
It
cute.
sounds too nice.
It was cute.
We watching a show where these people can't get out. Monsters is there.
Yeah,
we need something like
Familia.
Familia.
Cute. I agree with you. Yeah.
And shout out to Dana. She gifted a Real Enigmas and Theories membership. She gifted 2 memberships, and if you got one of those, thank Dana and celebrate with those emojis that you now have access to. And everybody else, go ahead and welcome our new members to the Magnify. Let's get it, y'all. I appreciate that, Dana. Definitely. Yes, that was dope. But yeah, Tony hit the nail on the head. I'm glad to see that this brother. Did you catch the beginning of the stream, Tony?
We'll see if he jumps on. He might have missed it,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he might have missed it. But he can go back.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure it'll be just as funny.
It's funny.
Yeah. There was something I wanted to say. Something.
Oh, he caught it.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Okay, good. Well, I hope he found it funny as well. But yeah, congratulations, Tony. It may be that La Familia becomes the new moniker for fans of From. So, well done.
Yes, well done.
And that was what I want to say. Tony was going to be here with us, and we were all going to watch this episode together, and then we're going to potentially hang out tomorrow as well. Or no, Tony was just going to come tomorrow, right?
Yeah,
he was just going to come tomorrow.
I'm sure we would have watched that shit.
Yes. Yeah, we probably would have rewatched it.
We would have rewatched it.
That was it. But unfortunately, Tony's sick, so he couldn't be here. But otherwise, it was going to be all 3 of us. The Trinity, the Holy Trinity, aliens, sort of esoteric, American gods or something like that.
Yes,
wasn't
it was
indigenous American gods.
Indigenous American gods in America's troubled past.
That was it. And then But if we summed it up, it would be sort of indigenous American gods. I think if we made it really short, right? So
Yes.
aliens, indigenous American gods, and like
And the
tarot cabo
Tarot
craziness.
Cabo theory, yeah.
Tarot cabo plus craziness.
Yes.
Put all that together. So that is the Holy Trinity. Let's see. But yeah, so Tony will join us next time, hopefully, if we're ever somewhere. He'll be next.
Yes, indeed. We hope Tony feels better. We wishing him well.
Yeah, we heard that Tony is already feeling better, guys. In case you were worried. So it's good news.
Tony, the Don of the Familia, La Familia, La Familia.
Yeah, it's also, it should be Tarot Cabot. It doesn't really rhyme, actually.
Tarot Cabot.
I still mispronounce it when I do my theory stuff, and then I correct myself. But yeah, so other predictions for episode 5. I have none. I have found that pretty much everything I predicted, like the esoteric stuff, isn't happening yet. Just what seemed to be more clues to things I've predicted. So I don't know what to make of it.
Okay, so we had this discussion.
Yeah.
And I wanna put this on the record.
Mm-hmm.
As of right now, what I have told Taran about his theories are going to show up esoterically is going to continue to be esoteric. So as of right now, it's still happening. He said that there will be a treasure hunt, and then we find that Victor went on an actual treasure hunt inside of Frumlin. And I even told him it was going to happen inside Frumlin is where you're going to find the artifact. But yeah, yes, indeed.
Well, if I may respond to that, I would just say the clues that led me to concluding there would be a treasure hunt were not because there were clues pointing me to a treasure hunt, if that makes sense. It was because there were clues pointing me to very specific objects that are like actual historical artifacts that exist in the real world, every one of them. And then I assumed, and then also references to paintings and Da Vinci. It made me think there was some sort of, and references to quests. And it made me think that there's some sort of Da Vinci Code style quest for these artifacts that the main characters need to gather. And then after researching these objects more, I realized that they actually are like objects that are all involved somehow in the origin story of the beings that like the gods that you're referencing in the background. So the fact that we're seeing a treasure hunt now on the show, to me, is just another clue that we'll see a treasure hunt later in season 4 or 5. But what Real is saying, I think, is that is what I was seeing, and that the pearl that I thought was La Peregrina is actually that pearl, one of the pearls that Victor found in his suitcase. So that's where we're disagreeing at the moment. Real believes that well, you speak for yourself, man. I'm sorry. I know I just saw you were chewing on something, so I thought I'd keep talking while you.
Yes, indeed. So
yeah.
Okay, just listening to you, but we can't get away from the fact that I said, okay, there's going to be things that are in your theory that are going to be in Frumlin. They're not going to be on a Da Vinci Code quest or what was the one with Nicolas Cage.
National Treasure.
Lara Croft.
Nathan Drake.
Right. It wasn't going to be anything like that. Yeah, you already know, sis. She laughing.
Real snacking.
Snacking on some ginger. That's all.
Yeah, it's just ginger.
But
I might go get some of mine actually in a bit.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty good. This is from Real's garden.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty. It's fit. It's strong. Ginger. I don't know how you got that. I could only live with it for like 10 seconds. You're doing pretty good with that.
You know. This is fresh cut ginger. Mm-hmm. I can't have it. I can't have it any other way. But dig it, right? If you look, we said that there will be pearls.
Yep.
You broke down.
Yeah. Megan means pearl.
You broke down the Megan means pearl. So I agree.
And then we see it around Ellis's neck.
And you said it was going to be a Da Vinci Code quest.
Yes.
And I said it was going to be in Prom, and it was going to be an esoteric clue.
Yeah.
So as of right now,
yes,
I was right. And what you're saying is
more clues.
That was a clue, that it was a foreshadowing of there'll actually be. That's what
Yeah. So I'm saying it's foreshadowing. You're saying that's actually the answer. That's the answer to the things that you were seeing referenced.
And we're gonna see
Yeah.
more. We're gonna see more of those, and that's all we're gonna see.
Yeah. So that's where we disagree. But for me, it's just like this show. John Griffin has said multiple times that he sees himself as having a contract with his audience, where all the crazy things he's going to throw at us will be answered in some way. You'll be able to, like, if you read the theories online that will eventually come out, if you read his breakdown, if you watch the making of From video, eventually at some point you will understand how every single clue on the show works. That's kind of what I think he meant by saying, I have a contract with my audience that I do have something to deliver to you. So that's why I think, if it is just esoteric, sort of hidden in the background, here's Victor with a pearl. It doesn't really mean much. We're just showing it. Well done, theorists. You found a pearl. You found references to a pearl. Now we're showing you a pearl. That's where I don't see it that way personally.
I think that's how it's gonna be.
Okay.
I think it's gonna
That's
be.
fair.
I think,
Fair.
but here's
fair.
the thing. It could very well change. It could very
Yeah.
well go into them actually breaking down some rhyme and reason behind it and showing us a historical aspect of a pearl, or
Okay.
showing us some kind of
Okay.
something of a historical nature.
So you just think more sort of pearl references, but they will remain almost like in Westworld, where some of this stuff, it's there, we keep seeing it, and it's really just like a thematic thing that they're referencing, like the maze of the mind.
It's like they just keep giving it to Paul.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, they'll show us. Oh, okay. For instance,
Yes.
Megan,
Right.
pearl.
Yes.
Now they show us the pearl earring,
But why?
and you're saying because they're going to show us the actual situation. So, what is
Okay.
the story of the pearl? Break it down for them, and then we're going to get into some of the things that
sound
they're
so
asking
crazy,
about.
though. And I don't know off the top of my head. I need to refer to my notes. Let me grab my laptop.
We're going to get into some of the stuff they're asking about. I see people asking about Jasper. I done seen like 7 comments asking about Jasper.
You know what we could do? We could run through all the connections between H.P. Lovecraft and From on the live as like a preview.
That would be dope.
So I think I texted them to you. It's probably the quickest way to find it. Let's have a look.
Yo, I like what Luna said
Here we
about Fatima's storyline. It is getting kind of boring the way that it's going. Like,
I don't know. She went from eating rotten
that's what I was going to
vegetables
say.
to eating blood.
The only honesty, in all honesty, the only interesting thing about it is her eating rotten vegetables and drinking the blood, or tasting whatever.
The rest of it,
The rest
can
of
take
it
or
is
leave the
okay.
worry. I don't know. I don't mind it, but they're gonna have to. I can't remember what episode it seems that's whatever the baby is revealed. Is it episode 7 or 8?
I
can't
don't
remember.
know.
I think
How
it's
do we
8.
know that there's a baby reveal? We got Chocolate Beauty in the building. Good to see you, Chocolate Beauty.
I just think
Strange Sky
she's
is
pregnant.
in the building. Strange Sky, good to see you as well.
Plus the Rosemary's Baby necklace. That is no coincidence. So here's why. Here's something interesting. I'm just gonna point this out to everyone. If Fatima does not have a demon baby, then the showrunners do red herrings on the show, as far as I'm concerned. Because why have Fatima wear a necklace from Rosemary's Baby? That's very, very definitely
Okay,
that
not
necklace.
to hit you with no semantics, but what do you call a demon baby?
A baby that is evil or dark in some way, potentially. I mean, my theory says that it'll be a changeling, and that it'll burst out of the window through where the gunshot went for Nikki. That's where it's been weakened, right? I actually came up with that on the spot while I was reading out my theory, and I kind of like it.
I was there.
Oh no, that was when I told you on the phone, and you started laughing at me.
Oh yeah, that's funny
that
as
was
hell.
that was before season 3 came out. That was like 5 months ago or something.
What if the baby jump out, slap somebody, and say "Gotcha, bitch," and then hop out the window?
I mean, I just think if
but then you said the baby was going to time travel, and then and that
And
baby
become-
would become
yeah.
Lil Thomas's. Now, if we
Yeah.
talking phenotype, how we
yeah.
talk? Yeah,
I kind of regret that theory, to be honest, because maybe it is too far. It is a little. No, you know what? Screw it. No, I like it. I like that theory. I like it.
Hey, cousin dropped us a $20 super chat. She said, "Tea on me, guys." Yes, indeed. And you know what? That's so dope that you say that, cuz, because I actually have a lot of tea references coming in another video. We got Teacup. We
Yeah.
got Jade says she made me tea.
Yeah.
Then he said it again last time. And I want to shout out Tony Teflon once again. He did a interview with Elizabeth Moy where she confirmed that the tea was made out of mushroom. She said it was mushroom tea, which they never said that shit on the show. Did they?
Was she joking?
No. She said that it was mushroom tea.
All right. Well, that's interesting. Don't like it.
I like it a
Don't
lot.
like-
We're
don't like
talking
it at
about
all.
acid trips, mushrooms, poppy
No,
fields.
that means that all this stuff that we're seeing doesn't matter. It's pointless.
Why?
Because it's just a hallucination that's come
No,
from
it's not
someone's
a
imagination.
hallucination. That's where the kids come in at. That's what breaks that whole thing right there with the kids.
Okay, so all you're saying is that these mushrooms enhance their ability to see visions, but the visions are real. Is that
Right,
what you're saying?
right.
Okay, well, I can get on board with that.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
can get on board with that. Okay, actually, that's fine.
Because Jade
Yeah.
is the one that keeps reiterating how she made him tea.
Sorry, what were we going to do? Were we going to do the Lovecraft stuff, or were we going to do the Pearl stuff? I don't remember what you wanted.
I do want to hear a brief bit of the Pearl story because we talked about that so much.
Okay. All right. Okay, fine.
But thanks again, Chocolate Beauty, for your generosity. It's greatly appreciated.
All right. I'll read you a little ditty. Okay, so I think seeing these earrings, particularly Victor picking up one earring and lifting it, because I believe this is a clue to a single earring. And isn't it interesting also that the pearls that are worn around both Ellis and Abby's neck are a single pearl as well? So I think they're saying this is a single pearl that we're looking at here, and I believe that this is a clue to a special earring that began as Aphrodite's pearl, then goes on to become Cleopatra's famous pearl, and then I think this pearl was plundered from her tomb by the famous Templar Sinclair family, who then took that pearl to Newfoundland along with a other bunch of Templar treasure, just like the legend of Henry Sinclair says. And if you've ever seen, I think it's called The Legend of Oak Island or something, it's always on the History Channel.
Mhm.
The treasure they're looking for is that Templar treasure. Like, there's a genuine legend that I'm referencing here. So again, pre-Cabot visit to Newfoundland that isn't the Vikings. Anyway, sorry. So the Sinclairs bring this treasure to Newfoundland, and then Cabot's marooned expedition, hundreds of years later, find these treasures, and then basically this witch, Bridget of York, she uses it as like a part of a witch's ladder of artifacts. That's what Jade's looking at, I think. He's looking at a clue to a witch's ladder. But it's basically a witch's ladder of various like magical artifacts from history, and she uses them in this spell, and it sort of creates Fromland when something goes wrong and sort of everything gets sucked into it, and then it's plundered when the crew of the Corte Real, some Portuguese conquistadors who went to Newfoundland, they sort of plunder this witch's ladder, which sort of weakens the spell and allows the boogeyman to sort of capture people from the real world. And then actually it ends up going to the Corte Real's brother-in-law, Martin Behaim, who in my theory is friends with Leonardo da Vinci because they both went on this Cabot cruise. And in my theory as well, Leonardo da Vinci is secretly Christian Rosencreutz, who founded the Rosicrucian order. This sort of mysterious character that no one knows who he was, but was apparently existed at the time that da Vinci was around. And then I think that basically these artifacts, including this earring, are passed down across time between these like creators, writers, musicians, scientists, and it sort of inspires the works that they do to be like Fromland. So Alice in Wonderland, that's cards, chess pieces, board games, tea parties, all that sort of stuff, right? Cheshire Cat. you know, these are connections, right, between these two universes, and it's because in my theory, Lewis Carroll basically received one of these objects. I think a red book, actually, a red diary. But in any case, I think
Hold
that
on one. How do y'all hear us out there? Do we sound all right? Can y'all hear both of us?
yeah, I can see from the comments that everyone's kind of zoned out. So I'll wrap this up. But yeah, basically, I think that the specific earring, the specific pearl that's passed along across time ends up with Elizabeth Taylor, and ends up being known as the La Peregrina. And I think that eventually Fromely will need to, or La Familia will have to hunt down these artifacts and use them to battle with the boogeyman. And I actually think they're going to have to heist it from the Tower of London. It's like a tinfoil theory that I've become enamored with. It's probably not going to happen, but I'm going to stick with it.
Okay.
That's about it. Sorry to talk for so long, guys, but that's basically what I think is going on. Yeah.
Okay, no problem, no problem. We love to hear this. No, keep it up. Yeah. Get your Lovecraft stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. I mean, okay. So before I start, I do want to say that Real and I are not here to celebrate the man H.P. Lovecraft, whose racist views went beyond his contemporary. So, sometimes there can be a little bit of forgiveness for someone being a product of their time. You know, if that was a view that was held by pretty much everyone in a country,
right?
I feel like it's slightly unfair to sort of tar someone with that brush a little bit. Although you must remember them with the context of that in mind. But I think Lovecraft went beyond that in terms of his hatred, and I just feel like it, based on my reading of things, I think it goes beyond the people who were contemporary with him. But really, what we're here to do is to learn more about his works, basically, his life as an individual, and how he might connect to From. In my opinion, he's one of the characters who receives this red book, and his work becomes inspired by the world of Fromland, and basically, his undeniable brand of sort of cosmic eldritch horror that's influenced the horror genre. I mean, literally, so many horror writers from history have been inspired by him. I think even Stephen King, he's very open about the fact that the works of H.P. Lovecraft inspired him as a boy. And so it's undeniable, whatever you think of the man, that his works have had a huge impact on horror in general, but also just popular culture, all sorts of mediums of entertainment. I think you were telling me about how a friend of yours plays that Lovecraft game.
Oh yeah. I was talking to my attorney. I was speaking with my attorney the other day, and she mentioned that I told her I was going on this trip to meet you and to do some research for a Lovecraft documentary. And she flipped out of her chair. She was like, "Oh my God, are you serious?" And she was like, "I'm such a big Lovecraft fan." And I thought that was so dope. She told me she's been playing the Call of Cthulhu since she was a teenager. And I was like, wow. So I'm definitely going to call you when I get done with the fact finding to see what you think about something. And if you know some little known facts that people don't know, she can share that with them.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, absolutely. No, I really enjoyed that anecdote when you told me. So even today, people are still enjoying his works. But we must acknowledge his, the man that he was, and the views that he had. Okay.
PM says that she's been saying it's Lovecraft is the Yellow King. That would be crazy. Did Lovecraft have a mole on his face?
I'm wondering about this mole, by the way.
If that could be a red herring to just throw us off.
Well, they put a mole on his face. Either the actor who plays him has a mole, or so they're like, guess who's going to play this character?
I mean, so we need to find. So do you think that there's going to be an actual guy in yellow?
Absolutely.
Who?
I have no idea, but I think he'll be a Chinese man. I think that he'll have a history of being involved in fireworks. I think that he's probably dead.
I want to say something to the people that doubted me on the carnival or the circus theory.
Uh-huh.
Taran had a circus theory as well. When we first met, we both noticed the Ferris wheel and the circus tent right there in her drawing, plain as day.
When I told you about the freak references,
The
on the
freak
show,
references on there,
Yeah.
you broke that down to me, and I was sold. I was like,
and
yeah,
what happened in this last episode?
we had the freaks were in the tent.
But also, but also, I mean, you're right about that. It was an amazing spot. But what about what the Costa says to the paramedics?
Oh yeah, Tabitha's freaking out back there.
Yeah.
Randall called Elgin a freak.
And Marielle says, "Is this the freaky sex room?"
Is this the freaky sex room? Yeah. So there's a lot of freak references on here, and then you have these
Yeah.
two.
And for example, right, there are many clues that suggest to me that it's specifically P.T. Barnum's circus train.
Mm-hmm.
I even think Columbia the elephant we'll see a genuine elephant in Halifax at some point, a baby elephant,
Mm-hmm.
potentially. But okay, so for example, Tabitha specifically calls Julie Jules, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
when
you look up the etymology of the word Jules, it actually means the downy bearded one or the soft bearded one. And I believe that is it. And remember how Boyd like cuts his beard and screams in the mirror? I think that's all a clue to the bearded lady. And also, she was known as Madame Clofulia. And isn't it interesting that people call Julie Madame Julie?
Right. I remember even Jade's beard has grown a lot, and he said that he used to play dress up back in the day.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, there's multiple references to cross-dressing on the show.
Yeah.
I think it's partly to do with a mother's play, and I think it might have something to do with the Feast of Fools.
Oh yeah, Fatima brings up a cross dresser that was there.
Charlie from Duluth, right?
Yeah, and that's in Georgia.
Is it? Oh, very
Yeah,
cool.
Duluth is in Georgia.
And my understanding about Duluth is that it's a major clue to Leif Erikson, because Duluth's main attraction is Leif Erikson's ship.
Oh
replica of it.
yeah, true indeed.
And they're very well known for their enormous park in the center of Duluth. And do you know what that park is called? Leif Erikson
Leif
Park.
Erikson Park.
And there's literally nothing else interesting.
Some of my research for the Changeling took me to Leif Erikson
And
Park.
where did Leif Erikson land?
Newfoundland.
Has he ever been to any other part of North America?
No.
Why on earth if it's
Why
got
on
nothing
earth?
to do with Newfoundland, why are they referencing Duluth and Leif Erikson? Someone tell me what Duluth could mean other than Leif Erikson, please. I couldn't find anything.
Leif Erikson was Norwegian, right?
What do you mean, sir?
He was Norwegian.
He was Icelandic.
Okay.
Well, I think he was Norwegian when he fled to Iceland with his father after he murdered someone.
Yes, he was Norwegian. So
Yeah.
Norwegians came all the way down through there, even all the way to parts of New York.
Yeah, eventually. But Leif Erikson was the
First, yeah.
Actually, there's a legend of another man who saw Newfoundland, but didn't step on
stop.
it. Yeah, and then apparently he might have been the one to spread the rumors that there was such a land there. But Leif Erikson was the guy who was brave enough to say, "I'm gonna go down there."
Yeah. Who was that guy?
I've forgotten the name. Yeah, but these Icelandic names are kind of hard to remember. Some of them. I can
And
probably
guys, we're
find
talking
it.
like way before Christopher Columbus
I wonder if I
was
included
even
it.
on the scene.
You know, I really started running out of steam when I got towards the end of my like mega theory post, and some of the older timelines, I really kind of skimmed over them and didn't write out everything that I'd sort of researched basically and thought might happen. So let me see if I can find his name. I mean, look, basically what I think is going to happen is that the story of Freydis Erikson, Leif Erikson's sister, who is a very interesting character. She massacred a bunch of people with an axe. She framed someone for sexual assault in order to convince people to murder them. She started wars. She scared off Native American warriors by beating her breasts with a sword while pregnant. You know, she has some crazy
That's crazy as
stories. And let me see if I can find the section on what I think happened. But basically, I think that the Greenland sagas of what happened in Midland will be recreated but mixed together with the legend of Grendel from Beowulf. And I think that eventually um, the survivors of that expedition will eventually become captured by the English, who were at war with them at the time. And eventually their story is written down by Ethelred the Unready of England, and it becomes the story of Beowulf. And there's a lot of clues that point me towards this, by the way. This isn't just me fan fictioning here. I've genuinely found things that tell me this might happen.
And don't mistake Lovecraft Country for H.P. Lovecraft. Lovecraft Country is like an adaptation of his horror style.
Yeah.
That was mainly promoted to, like, African Americans or indigenous Americans, as I like to say sometimes.
It was a great show, but it didn't
but it just didn't reach as far as it should have, and that's why they canceled it. That's why it's only one season. But H.P. Lovecraft is a prolific horror writer and fantasy, actually, I would even call it.
He was a bit of a miserable so-and-so as well.
But he was racist as hell.
And he's kind of the original emo, right?
Yeah, he's like Edgar Allan Poe 2.0. Yeah, he's like a Edgar Allan Poe 2.0. But yeah, those you got to check out some Lovecraft stuff. There's some documentaries out there, but our documentary is going to be coming from a different angle and making some actual connections to the show we're watching. And we're going to talk about how he's inspired other things as well.
Yeah, just general background information that people might find interesting. I mean, look, if somebody clicked the video who didn't watch From, in fact, if it was someone who clicked the video and did watch From but had never seen me or Real's theories, I don't know how much they would get out of it, Oh, actually, I think if they came in fresh and they were a fan of From, they would probably enjoy it. We're not going to make it like super specific. We're gonna open it up to most people, but it's not a general documentary about Lovecraft, okay?
Right? And in the show, like Chloe says here, it's based off Matt Ruff's book. She's right about that.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I enjoyed. I thought the CGI particularly was really good in that.
It was a great show, and it just should have been. I don't know if everything was just put together in a way that it just grabbed the masses. You know what I'm saying? Because it should have been top 10 type shit. But I mean, it was sad to see it go, to be honest.
I just wish they tweaked the story a little to make it
more palatable.
Yeah, more palatable to just a much wider audience. I feel like it was like toothy, but it's based on a book, right? So what are you going to do? You just follow the book accurately, and it was for that audience. But I think TV, you really do need to find broad appeal. That's one of the things I love about From. People from all walks of life can enjoy this. People from all over the world, people with all sorts of interests, diverse interests, they can still come together and enjoy From the puzzle that it's presenting to us.
Yes. It didn't come with anything with like what you see with From at all. From has everything that you need. But there were a lot of unresolved questions, and it was really getting good at the end. Like Lovecraft Country at the end of the episode, it was really getting good. And but it is what it is. Oh yes, we will create something very fire. This is gonna be fire. Both of us are gonna be in it. You're going to hear both of our voices, see both of our faces.
We're going to time-lapse stuff. We've got time-lapses of us traveling, of us hanging out.
This is going to be a story about two people who watch a show who ended up becoming good friends from different countries that come together to put together a documentary based on Lovecraft and its references to the show.
Yes. And we should get into those now.
Go ahead.
The references that I think we're seeing. So Just to be clear to everyone, the way I view the show is that they hide clues in the dialogue, and as such, specific words are clues, basically. Words that they repeat, words that they emphasize, words that are out of place. So I'm just going to list some of these words now: weird, love, chaos, name, crawling, mountain, mad, cycle, dream, doom, tomb, wall, sleep, bugs, name, quest, outside, moon, rats, cool, shadow are all clues on the show. And guess what?
Every single one of those words is in Lovecraft's book titles.
Yes.
So I thought that was pretty interesting. And so I think that the jellyfish that I've been talking about, the sea monster from Bear Top mythology, I think, although he's not specifically a jellyfish, but I think in this case the showrunners have chosen to depict him as a jellyfish because it's the only sort of sea monster type creature that was sort of known around Newfoundland as sort of like an animal from the sea. So I think that the jellyfish is what's known as the floating horror or Cthulhu. I think the Book of Power, that from the origin story. Oh yeah, that's not going to make much sense to you guys. But basically, I think there's a very important book with red skin. I think that's the Necronomicon. There's also the Black Man, as he's known in Lovecraft's works. I think that is Aikmedium, the Black Man from Bear Top folklore. And I think the trapezohedron is the special stone, the emerald that I've been saying is an important thing on the show. So yeah, some of these won't make sense to you until they show up in a later season, if I am correct about what's coming. But those are some of the connections I've made there. The other thing I wanted to talk about is Providence, because everybody knows that Providence is where Lovecraft is from. It's where he's most famous for. He sets most of his stories there. Providence and H.P. Lovecraft are deeply connected, and I thought it was very interesting that they used the word Providence on the show. Katri says that's not fate, that's Providence, and also Boyd randomly, when he's in the forest with Sarah, starts like talking to the sky, saying, "You want to talk about Providence? You want to talk about Providence?" Just like what is he talking about?
Yeah, what was he talking about there?
So in my theory, I think that when Tabitha goes on this Da Vinci quest, I think she's actually going to go to Providence. It's one of the only places that is referenced in these clue chains that I've been following. There's no Paris, there's no London, there is Providence though. So I don't know. I'm thinking Providence might be part of this quest. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Providence is just another clue to H.P. Lovecraft, and they won't actually visit it.
Yeah,
but that's why we're here, just in case.
Well, I mean, I think that we might see more Providence references and H.P. Lovecraft references.
Yes,
and we'll be the guy. We'll be the guys who nailed that into the show.
Yeah.
Okay, so Chocolate Beauty with another super chat. Thank you so much, cuz. She says, why can't Black people use their imaginations and have their stories without the white gaze to have shows?
That's a very good point. I think that's true.
And it is. It's a very good point.
No one's saying that can't be. I think that we should see more of that, actually.
I think we should. I think we should see more of our imaginations being used instead of the same old stories being told, like slavery and killing each other and drugs and stuff like that.
But I think the more people watch it, the more success the show will
and that's what I liked about Lovecraft, because it was a totally different show and a totally different genre. I like that as well. But unfortunately, the numbers are never there. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the WNBA. They want more money into WNBA. Well, you need more supporters. You need more of these women that are saying that agree with you getting more money. We need more of you to watch the WNBA. We need more of you to show up to the game. And that's pretty much how they get the money for these shows. You know what I'm saying? if it would have caught on like something like From, then it would have just pretty much bulletproofed itself. From has bulletproofed itself. In the way that it's done, you have a great lead, and then you've created a show that actually brings the network subscription.
Yeah.
And it would be, it's a definite, it's a no-brainer that if you get rid of From, your subscriptions are going to plummet. So that's what these kind of shows need to do.
I hope that's how the people behind the show, the people funding the show, and we get to decide whether they get to make another season. I hope that's how they're seeing it. I really do.
I know some of it isn't. Some of it is more political. I'm sure. Some of it. If you're coming out with, sometimes it doesn't matter how much money you make. I guess you can get cut out, right?
I will say this. The guys who run MGM, I think the decision makers. Unfortunately, I've forgotten the guy's name, but he was at the From premiere for season 3. Where there were a lot of really cool interviews with the actors that I haven't seen posted around much. So I recommend anyone who wants to look that up. It was like the influencer sort of launch or the premiere or something. All the actors were there. I can't remember why I was referencing that. Damn, I've lost my train of thought.
Oh, so you saying that you were saying the guy that runs MGM?
Oh yeah, so he was there, and then he's also the guy speaking in the. You know how they show the preview of the season. And there's like John Griffin talking, Jack Bender talking, Harold Perrineau saying they turned it up to 11, and then Jack Bender's like,
"Oh yeah,
this is becoming deeper and deeper."
Was he in that?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, and John Griffin was there talking about things as well.
The guy that runs MGM was in that little thing.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that was a fire ass.
Yeah, I think he's in that. I can't remember what his
name is.
His name is or what his title was, but I just remember getting a sense of it as like, oh, that's the boss. That's the boss. And you know what? Do you know what he said actually in at the premiere? He said, "I love the theories the most. That's my favorite thing is reading the theories."
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what you told me before. I think he said that last year, right?
No, he said it at this premiere.
At this premiere?
Yeah, that's what I think. I think that's what I'm remembering. And my memory is not infallible, so I may be wrong, but I believe that's what's happening. So all I'm saying is, it seems like this guy really supports what From's trying to do. And that he's actually part of it, and he's in on it. And here's another interesting thing. I think that MGM, the company that's making From, is actually its history. MGM's history is going to be part of the origin story of From. I believe that some of these artifacts that I was talking about earlier are actually going to end up in the hands of various people involved in the creation, continuation, and success of MGM. The actors, the producers, the directors. Like, I actually genuinely think, that lion that we now see at the start of every episode, that lion, I think, will be part of the mythos of From, believe it or not. So, and I'll leave it there. I've only started thinking about this recently, and that
even ties into my Wizard of Oz connection, because Wizard of Oz is an MGM product.
Is it really?
Yes.
Okay, well then, so that's it. That's part
and like I said, I did that video. And I failed to mention that Boyd was in a show called Oz, and he was in a Shakespeare play.
I forgot to, so here's, and I totally agree with you, man. And I even think that some of the, I actually think that some of the actors have been chosen because of their connections to the world of From. Like Harold Perrineau, for example.
Right.
Let me tell you, this is really cool, guys. This is really interesting, okay? Harold Perrineau, they originally decided they didn't want to use any actors from Lost on From.
Right.
They agreed that.
I heard that.
And then for some reason,
they go snatch up.
Yeah, there's a story about it. I can't remember exactly. I remember listening to it and being like, this doesn't really explain why they changed their mind. But in any case, so here's what's interesting. First of all, both you and I, Real, believe that Shakespeare is connected to the show. Right?
Absolutely.
Okay, and I've predicted that when the polar bear shows up, if a polar bear shows up, whoever it chases will run to the left of the screen because of a famous Shakespeare thing. A famous Shakespeare quote, which was exit left. Yeah, exit stage left. It was stage left. Exit stage. Thank you for correcting me. Exit stage left, pursued by a bear. So that would be really, really cool. Get all the Lost theorists excited. I actually am really, the reason why I started thinking this was Scott McCord having to describe season 3 in one word, and he used like a word. I really need to go back and find out what this word was, but it was like bearish or barely. something, or
I'm gonna say something now that when I have these thoughts, never mind. I'm just gonna keep it to myself because I'm gonna put it in a video. And I hate having these thoughts, and then I'm like, man, I should put that in a video, but then I want to spill the sauce on the live stream and shit, and then it doesn't hit hard enough in the video. Yeah. I'll tell you when we get off.
Okay, no, that's cool. That's cool. Anyway, the reason I brought up MGM there is because I think it'll build brand value for MGM. And I'm speaking to the boss of MGM right now if he's watching.
If he's watching,
okay,
yeah.
I really do think this. There's so much value. MGM. Maybe I'm being British. I don't know this American history of MGM, but I just feel like if your main show, if your biggest show, right? Imagine your biggest show has MGM as part of its mythology. That means that all your subscribers will become more loyal, be less likely to tick off, to unsubscribe, more likely to continue subscribing, and basically like support your company a little bit more. I think there's something to be said for brand loyalty. And it is, so anyway, that's my desperate attempt to try and convince an imaginary person watching this, who's probably not watching this, to continue renewing from. But I really, honestly, I studied business at school, at university. I did get a first from Bath, which is the #1 business university in the country.
Do you think From has 10 years in it?
I would love, so here's something interesting. I have a little bit of light at the end of a tunnel, a little bit of hope on that one. I remember John Griffin and maybe Jeff Pinkner. Here's something, we never talk about Jeff Pinkner enough, actually. It's always John Griffin or Jack Bender because he's director. But I think we should give Jeff Pinkner a lot of credit for guiding. John Griffin, he may be extremely talented, fantastic writer who's created an amazing world. But he has never produced a show before. He's never written for a show as it's coming out before. There's something to be said for the way that Jeff Pinkner and his team at Midnight Radio, they really don't get enough credit. I mean, it was really cool to see when they actually threw Kenny a birthday party. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And what was the theme?
The theme was a carnival
and a circus.
The theme was a carnival and a circus. That's right.
And did it have freak show on the front?
Yes, it did. It had some freak show on the thing.
Guys,
okay, we're right on point with this. That's another part that started happening after. That's something that happened after we met.
That happened after we discussed the freak.
Right, the freak thing, and then that happened. That came way later, like maybe at the end of the year, some shit like that, while they were filming.
Yeah. And they put clues all over the place. Do you remember how they adapted the poster?
And then he deleted all of that shit.
They also photoshopped a cannabis cigarette onto Jade's mouth on the poster.
Oh, they did?
I thought it was a baseball bat, but it was the cannabis cigarette.
Yes, so yes. Luna Cascade with the dope super chat. She says, I don't think it's about lack of imagination. It's more lack of opportunity. Lots of Black creators are out there making some amazing work. The game is rigged for a chance to bring it to life. Now, I don't think that she was saying that there is a lack of imagination. I think that she was saying, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Chocolate Beauty, that why can't Black people use their imaginations and have their shows without having to have white eyes on it for it to be solidified? That's what I think she was saying.
There are shows that are like that. Like Empire, for example, found its, I don't know what's happened to it now.
Yeah, but Empire was on some bullshit. Like,
no, of course.
It's as far as what we're talking about.
But it got a large enough viewership to continue running for many seasons. And Lovecraft Country didn't.
Right, but what I think she was saying, I think that she's kind of hinting to my sentiment is those kind of shows are lack of imagination. In my opinion.
Which shows, like Empire?
Yes.
Because
it's just about drugs and music and this or that. It's not a science fiction. It's not a You know, you see what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
I do see.
It's
Yeah.
it's like black
you're saying-
shows are always wrapped
I
up in this
see.
one box.
So you wanted to see?
It's either about slavery or it's either about black people
Okay.
killing each other, you know. And I like some of those shows. I like Power. I watch Power. I
Okay.
watch Raising Canaan. You know what I'm saying? I watch those shows. I like those shows.
Yeah.
But I do want to see black people doing some different shit. Like, it's like that's what all the black shows are about. If y'all know any other shows that's about something else, name it to me.
Yeah.
Oh, but thank you once again, Luna Cascade, for the super chat on that.
Mhm.
Yes, indeed.
Well, we were on something very interesting a minute ago. Before the super chat, what was it? Not that the super chat was bad. It was an interesting comment. But what were we on? We were on something really.
Oh, we got
dope.
Saggy Star with the $20 super chat via Cash App. This is on Cash App. Yes, indeed. Oh, we appreciate you so much. Yes, and she said thank you for being the peaceful YouTube street. Yo, that's all we here to do. We here to bring the peace, but we're here to bring the vibes and the heat too. We're bringing the peaceful heat. That's what we're here to do. Bring the peaceful heat. We're bringing that peaceful heat. We're bringing that. It's gonna be. Oh, you see something there? Here you go.
No, it's cool. I don't know if I accidentally offended Chocolate Beauty with something I said, so I was checking to see if I needed to apologize. I
No,
don't know.
she knows we all family around here.
Okay. Well, look, I don't know if I said anything, but I would like to see shows that about predominantly black characters who potentially might who are doing something that isn't that isn't typical, I guess, of what's
okay. So she said she was saying exactly what I was saying.
Oh, she's agreeing. She's agreeing.
I read that right. I thought I read that.
Sorry,
right.
I'm always paranoid that I've upset someone around these topics. I try. I try not to be too opinionated when it comes to these topics because it's not my area of expertise or something. I don't live that, and I certainly don't live in America, or know terribly much about America. I try and stay, keep my finger on the pulse with, American politics, but it's certainly through the lens of an outsider. So, I tend, frankly, I didn't really comment too much there because it's something that is not settled, and there's still a lot of debate. But what I can say is I think that a show like Lovecraft Country, potentially there might be some, say, a white person or an Indian person or a Chinese person who sees that show and says and decides in their head, because of all the Jim Crow stuff and all that, they thought that's not for me.
Yeah,
that show wasn't made for me, so I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah,
and that's not the right attitude to have. Actually,
that's not the right attitude, and
people
people shouldn't have to cancel shows because you have a group of people that feel that way either. Yeah. That's what she's saying.
And I agree with that, and I'm saying I wish that they didn't view things that way, because I think, why not be transported to that world? Why not learn something different to yourself? Why not learn what that era was like?
Yeah,
why is that not for you?
If millions of black people can pile around to watch some shit like Game of Thrones, then why can't why can't it be the same way across the board?
And I bet they all watched that Japanese show that did so well, Shogun.
Oh yeah, they
all watched Shogun.
To the point,
I guarantee you,
Shogun was only supposed to be one season, and they got an extra season because the viewership was so good.
Yeah, I mean, look. So my point is, and maybe that is a little bit to do with the stigma. But I also think that maybe one of the reasons Shogun did so well was because they put this white actor as the lead, and it just was palatable enough for people who typically don't delve into other cultures to be like, oh yeah, well, this actor, I'll follow him, I can go along with him, I'll identify with him, and I think, sad to say, because it's because I don't agree with the sentiment behind that, but I also think that it's part of that equation.
Yeah,
that's the sad part of it all.
And what do you think makes From different, aside from like?
I saw something ridiculous a year ago that really upset me, and I actually spent a good 40 minutes. No, that's an exaggeration. More like 10 minutes. but I really did spend some time thinking about it. Someone had said, "Oh, I can't deal with all these like lesbian relationships on the show. They're just forcing it down our throats." And I was like, actually, From it doesn't come with an agenda.
No, it doesn't.
It's not diversity for diversity's sake, at all. Whoever does the casting on this show is a genius. Everyone feels natural and amazing. And I just I argued with them. First of all, I explained to them how ridiculous their comment was, and how they started saying, "Oh well, I can't even get into it." But basically, I explained to them, From is actually about a nuclear white family, the Matthews family, and then he's complaining that it's all lesbian, all woke, and whatever. And then I also think that that homosexuality is actually and cross-dressing is an important part of the mythology and history of Fromland.
Absolutely.
And if that's the case, then of course, then it isn't. But it's actually part of the plot and the mythology and the origin. And I actually think the race of these characters, the Iranian,
you got Father Khatri.
Yeah,
you
got the Indian.
You got the Indian, the Iranian, Fatima. You have Kenny and his family, all the black characters, all the white characters. Yeah. You got Tabitha with her thick accent.
You got Marielle with the surname Sinclair, like the Templar Sinclair that I've been talking about for like a year now.
Yes, indeed.
And suddenly Marielle name reveal. It's Sinclair. What a shock! All the crosses that we keep seeing, it's Templar crosses.
I think From hits the mark when it comes to diversity, and if anybody has a problem with seeing a lesbian relationship on a television show, then you're not even in the real world, because
I just didn't get it.
There are lesbian relationships in the real world, so why wouldn't there be one on a TV show? I mean, it is what it is. People gonna feel some type of way.
It's just.
I understand that there are now. Don't get me wrong, and don't take me for a joke at all. There are definitely some serious ass agendas out there, and there are some shows that try to just push shit in your face, but From isn't one of them.
Yeah, and that's actually how I started.
As a matter of fact, if you think of all the nuances, like the Jim Crow nuances in From, some great theorists had to come through and show you guys that shit.
And that was you.
Yeah, that was. It was
100% you. I mean, I didn't know about that at all. I did know about the Gollywog.
Okay.
I knew about that because a teacher in my school had got.
They were very popular in England.
Were they?
Yeah, the Gollywog toys were very popular.
I remember he said it, and he got in trouble for it, and I didn't really know why. But that's when I saw it, the Goolagog, I was like, I need to Google that and remember what it was when I looked it up. Anyway.
Yeah.
I knew that one, but I didn't know the Jim Crow stuff. When you said, look at Jim pretending to be a crow and cawing.
Right.
That was, for me, that was huge. That's a big. That means the Jim Crow era. What era is that officially? Do you know?
The Jim Crow era.
Yeah.
Well,
what's the? Do they have official dates?
The
or is
late
it just like
the late 1800s is really the official when it started. When the man Thomas Dartmouth
Civil War
Rice
is Jim Crow era.
Right. Well, after the Civil War.
After the Civil War.
Well after. Yeah, the 1880s, 1890s, and the guy Jim Crow. Before it became a term, it was a character, a minstrel character who he used to travel around and portray.
So the original Jim Crow was from the 1800s, but maybe the Jim Crow era, as it's known now.
Look up Thomas Dartmouth Rice real quick while we're here.
Late 19th century and early 20th century. Yeah, so you're right. So it's from the late 1800s all the way up to 1950.
Yeah, the 1950s when the
1965 is the official end
of the Jim Crow era. Yes.
Okay, so that's really sorry. Thank you for educating me, because this is not an area that I've tried to theorize in, simply because there's no way I could learn enough about this sensitive topic to theorize about it.
Yeah.
Accurately.
1865 is when the Jim Crow era started, which is a year after the Civil War.
Because this is a hobby for me.
The guy, look up. There he is. Yeah. That's him right there.
There he is. Yeah.
Thomas Dartmouth Rice.
Pretty gross character.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we've all had our caricatures. the Indian.
And what was
Indians
crazy
have
is,
their own-
and what was crazy is, I think that a lot of those characters, those blackface characters, those minstrel characters, they were actually jealous of how smooth and shit black people were, because they had to really start going to get really talented people to play, to do blackface. They started going to get motherfuckers that could really dance, could really sing, and could really do these things. They had to go get, because the motherfuckers that
But
started this
why-
shit, like Thomas Dartmouth Rice, they were not talented.
But-
They were jealous of black people.
but
Literally.
why did they do it? Like, I mean, like, not what you're explaining the reasons behind why, but what were the ostensible reasons? What were the, like, first and foremost reasons? What would the average audience member watching a minstrel show understand about the reasoning for using blackface?
Well, first of all, I think that it started happening because black people always were happy no matter what was done to us, or no matter how little we had. And in America. And there were rich blacks that had the same vibe about them. They were just unbreakable. They just had unbreakable spirits back then. Today we do a lot of crying and whining, in my opinion. Back then they sucked it up and they were funny. They did their jobs. They made their money. They owned their land. They sharecropped. You could not keep these people down. And I think that it was based on jealousy. I think it was based on jealousy. Like, you see somebody doing something well, somebody that's jealous of you hears another person making fun of you, they're going to laugh with that person. And so they're going to identify with the jokes. And then they're going to start doing shit like putting shoe polish on their face and dancing around, acting like this guy. Right? You see what I'm saying? It's like a jealousy. It was kind of like a jealousy thing. When I read the story about it, when I read the different history, it just seems like those people seem to be really jealous to the point to where they actually had to go hire talented people to do what this fool created. You see?
Anyway, we should probably get off this topic because it's so sensitive and it's not, we might end up getting people fighting in the comments over this sort of stuff.
Oh yeah.
So let's move on to.
Oh wow! Well, look at what PM said. Like Boy said, "You won't break me," and that was the black spirit.
That's true.
That was
Absolutely.
the spirit of black people in America. It was just like unbreakable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think some of the things. Well, I'm not even gonna go there. Look, you're right. Let's change the topic.
To be honest, like I don't want to police this conversation, but I don't know very much about the topic, so I'm happy to continue having it. I'm not going to contribute because I just don't. I can ask questions to educate myself, but I don't know much.
Oh yeah. Well, we can pretty much switch the topic and get on what we're talking about, because there's some things that I would want to say that I know that need to be said, but this is not the time for it. We here vibing right now. We on some from shit. We have what? Less than what? An hour and 45 minutes until the show.
I mean, for me, it's going to be 5 a.m. when the show starts and 6 a.m. like from London time when it ends. So I'm going to be very sleepy.
Y'all have to understand, he has flown backwards in time. So like he's still on UK time, but he over here and it's what, 10:16?
Oh my god,
10,
you guys
18?
would not believe I had such an issue getting on my plane. Basically,
I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick.
I'll tell them
what
this
happened.
story. It was a horror show. But I was so eager to, and I dropped quite a bit of cash on this these flights as well. Unfortunately, my travel agent messed up, and so I had to book new flights at the last minute. I basically they had to let some people off a plane before we were allowed to continue to our gate, and they literally disembarked the plane. It took like half an hour. So I was already like, oh my god, I'm glad I left a lot of time. And then I realized I'd gone to the wrong gate, and I needed to run to this other one. So I sprinted for like 10 minutes straight, somehow like collapsed just in time in front of the gate. They let me through, and then like I literally exerted myself so much that I like threw up, so badly on the plane. It was a horror show, but I managed to get here. I'm so glad. But yeah, it was a bit of but this journey has been fraught, I tell you. And yeah, it's and yeah, sorry again to try and change the subject. Actually, very happy to stay on this. It's just we were leaving the from topic and sort of delving into other things, and it's just something that I would real when we're on the phone, I learn a lot from Real about this stuff. He will call me up, and tell me how he's feeling about things, and it's very eye opening, to be honest. So I'm regularly updating myself on what's going on in the United States, and it has a huge effect on the world. I don't know if Americans really realize how much of an impact your elections and your policies have on everyone else. So it's pretty interesting to keep track of everything that's going on here through an American citizen's eyes rather than someone watching news pundits. I follow people from all sorts of backgrounds in American politics because I'm trying to understand what both sides are saying. Basically, I find it interesting. That's nice. So you didn't have Real's always teasing me now that I'm single. Every time there's some like lady in our vicinity, he's like, she likes you. She fancies you.
Oh nah, you should have seen the housekeeper today. She was like, yo, she was breaking her neck to look at Taran. I said, what?
I think she was just uncomfortable with us arriving before she finished. But you can read into it as much as you like. But yeah, so anyway, so what are we gonna do, Real? Are we gonna keep streaming until episode 5 is available?
Nah, I usually let people go early so that they can go get their snacks together, go get your drinks and your smokes or whatever you do, and they get ready. I give them about a good hour to get ready. You know what I'm saying? We could actually clip it now. I know that you guys probably want to hear more from us, but I do want to start working on some Lovecraft stuff, getting into some how am I going to approach this next video? How am I going to stay caught up with actually like being on this little trip? We leave on Monday, so it's not too bad. Yeah. So, and I'm always a little late with my recaps and stuff anyway. I let everybody else get their shit off and then I come through. You know what I'm saying?
The only bad part about that is that you might catch something, but then someone else posts about it first, and then it will seem like you stole their idea. That's the only thing. So that's why I tend to post on Reddit pretty quickly, and then
get it out there, so you got it locked in.
Like my initial thoughts, and then the problem is I'll edit it with new thoughts, and then I'll leave it after a week, basically.
Yeah, somebody came in the comments and said that I'll be copying off of people, and I'm like, I'm telling you now, I ain't copying off of nobody.
Real doesn't really go on Reddit ever. So if it's on Reddit, Real
I don't fuck with Reddit.
He didn't see it.
I've been staying away from Twitter.
He can't even open the links I send him sometimes. Honestly, he just doesn't use Reddit.
Right. I just don't really use it, and then I'm trying to avoid spoilers, so I haven't been watching anybody else's videos. Like my man Tony had to like break his shit down to me because he was like, "Yo, you saw my video?" I was like, "Nah, yo, I ain't watching nobody's shit. Tell me what it is." And he sat there and told me. Oh, somebody said, "Who's saying the lies? Who? Go, Chocolate Beauty. What you doing to me, cuz? I ain't lying."
No, I think she's saying about the people lying about you.
Oh, they lying about me.
That you stole a theory.
Ain't no way in hell I stole anybody's shit.
I mean, Real's pretty good at giving credit.
Yeah, if I see something if I say something that somebody said, I'm gonna give them credit. But
if there's ever disagreement, it's a memory issue. It's not a morality issue.
Right.
That's for sure. It's like, did you say it? I thought it was me. That's about as far as it might ever go with Real. He would never, pass off a theory as his own.
I'm trying to tell you. I'll tell you like this, right? I'm not trying to toot my horn or anything. I think I have the most original theories out there on YouTube, other than Taran. Yeah. Like I think that nobody's theories come off like mine, and it ain't no way in hell nobody's not saying none of the shit that I'm saying.
Fromland is kind of close to you sometimes.
Fromland?
You guys talk about the same stuff sometimes. I know
okay.
I know you haven't seen his channel.
I haven't even
Yeah.
seen the channel. Yeah,
I've just recommended him to you.
I
like
know
20
about
times.
it. I know about the channel.
You gotta watch Fromland, man.
Yo,
He's
you
really
got-
good. I used to exchange emails with him, but then he dropped off.
Yo,
Yeah.
Nene, put some respect on my name. Tell him, sis. She
Yeah.
said, "Real is the real deal." Put some respect on his
Mhm.
name. It definitely is due the respect because
Yeah.
I don't take shit from nobody, and I really think that don't nobody see the show and how I see it. The only person that sees it closest to me is Taran, and I can
Yeah.
think of.
Yeah.
Nobody else looks at the show. Like, what y'all think about the catch with the the tent, the circus tent? Taran told me that was fire. That was a
It
fire
is fire.
catch.
It is a fire catch.
What do you
Yeah.
think about the altar catch at the bullet removal scene? Come on, y'all. Nobody saw that.
I
Nobody.
liked seeing the
the
drums.
The
The
drums.
drums on the table. And now you and I have different theories about what the drums mean.
Okay.
Okay. So I believe that the show, and I'm pretty happy actually that I somehow managed to guess that there would be a cannibalism scene before they did the cannibalism episode. Because I believe this is the episode that's supposed to give us all our clues to cannibalism.
We both said that.
Yeah. So think about this, right? You got Boyd sawing away at the wood. They zoom in on him sawing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You got Victor talking about eating them raw. You got Christie's injured leg. And I thought that, and then they talk about drawing straws for Dale to go and get the cabbages. You remember that?
Yes.
And then and they fixed it.
Yes. Oh
So-
man, the drawing straws is the one that really blew my mind.
And they're
When
running out
Donna
of food.
came in there and said that whole scene was nothing but clues all the way around.
And they said we played that little charade with the straws because they fixed it so Dale would be the one coming to, and even Dale accuses them of fixing it. Okay? So we know, so in my opinion, there will be, let's see. In my opinion, there will be a cannibalism event. So remember how everyone's starving and worried about food now? I think in the origin story, basically someone needs to lose a leg. They're going to take someone's leg, they're going to eat it to survive. Okay, they need it to get through the winter. They figured out one leg will get them through, and then they'll draw lots again. And then I think they get food somehow, and but someone gets their leg eaten. And I thought it was really interesting that Marielle says in this episode, "You're eating a little more." And in my theory, in the origin story, there's this guy called Clovis the Moor, who was a famous tambourinist and drummer, who was black from Tudor England.
He was Moorish.
But back then they called black people Moors as well.
Right.
So you didn't really know what they were. But so whether they're North African Arabic or Sub-Saharan African,
Moroccan.
you don't know which one he was.
Yeah.
Okay, it could be Arabic potentially. Actually, now I'm starting to think he's more likely to be Arabic. But I've been picturing him as black. But he probably is Arabic. So maybe. But have we seen
probably
any Arabic
Moroccan.
people in Fromland yet? There's no Arabic people in Fromland, so anyway, ignore me. The point is, I think that the one who basically has it fixed that he loses his leg when they draw straws is Clovis the Moor. And I think he's the one behind all these. And that, the spoon in the mouth, I bet that's what he had to do when they cut off his leg.
Yes, indeed. That's what they did. That's what they
so
did.
you didn't bite through your tongue, right? And shatter your teeth. So that needed to be soft so that your teeth wouldn't just shatter on it. It would depress.
Right. I talked about that in there too. How they make you, because wood is a grounding tool as well.
Oh, that's for your ritual theory.
And it's connected to the tree.
The altar theory.
And then I said in medicine they used to use metal spoons to make them bite down to withstand the pain. I threw it in there. Okay. I didn't say metal, man. I said wooden.
Yeah. Well, for me, I think it's a surgery teeth one. For me,
but, I showed a picture of a dude getting his leg cut off when I said it.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we've been discussing this for a while, so I think we both have some sort of theory about people getting cannibalized. But so that and I had this theory. I thought it was going to be John Cabot's son Ludovico. but I think
But you've been eating a little more.
Yeah, it's the little more, the
Yeah,
Moorish,
the little
the
more.
Moorish man. And there was a tambourine in Henry's basement.
Yes.
There was a tambourine in Victor's room.
Mm-hmm.
Now there are drums in on the table. On the table.
Well,
So,
drums are typically used in rituals and especially sacrifices to make the practitioner zone out.
Yeah.
They would have to get their mind into this zone in this place, and the drums would help them get there by playing a certain rhythm. And even the rhythms would have different names that meant like Ikwazo Saba, like that's a different rhythm. That's like an African drum rhythm. Like okay, so what I was saying was but then if you look at let's do this. Wait, where is the
African drummer?
Yes, indeed. Where is? And I grew up on these rhythms.
What do you think of is it a xylophone in there, the musical instrument in Victor's? You're a musician, you might know. What's the instrument in?
Yeah, that was a xylophone, right?
Yeah, I connected it to someone, but I can't remember whose. I added someone to my historical figures list as a result of seeing that.
Where
I can't
is
remember
that?
what it was.
I just had it up here. Okay, so wait, let me get back to what I was saying. Okay, so we can look at this here. Okay, this is before they brought the bowl. Okay, but I just want to point this out.
Yeah, there it is.
On an altar, you have candles. Here are the candles. You have books on an altar for rituals. You have drums on many altars. You have stone. You also have a burnt offering, and we see some burnt joints in the ashtray. And these are things that you see. Over here on the other side of the room, you can't see it in this picture, but these are your witnesses here. And behind these witnesses are the statues. Here's one of the statues. You can see the leg right there. That's a leg of a statue right there. That's a mannequin leg. Okay. But the xylophone, there it is. The xylophone right there.
So if you go to the xylophone Wikipedia, maybe we can try and discover what that clue means together, because all the main clues are on Wikipedia, believe it or not.
I even started highlighting things here. Like this is when I highlighted.
I bet this is where Fatima gives birth as well, in this room.
You think so?
Yeah, because I think the demon baby flies out the window.
Out the window right there. Okay.
Where Nikki got shot.
Okay, so now they have the bowl. Okay, so the bowl is there. Here's the wooden spoon right here. You can see the wooden spoon. Typically, there's a piece of wood in the middle of an altar because of its grounding ability. There's a bowl there as well, and the libation is poured in the bowl. You have the libation right here in her hand. The libation is poured in the bowl, and also the sacrificial blood is poured in after the libation. And so the libation was poured onto the pliers that Fatima actually takes the pliers and pours the libation on them inside of the bowl. And then Nikki takes, I'm going to say Mari takes Nikki's blood with the bullet and dumps the bullet in the bowl and puts it in there. It even gives you a little hint of it like mixing together. It's so crazy how they did this scene. Then you have over here on the other table, you have also another pair of drums on the table. And there's also another burnt offering. Okay, so burnt offerings and drums on the other table as well. And the drums here. So this is what definitely made me think that there was some sort of ritual going on. It was definitely and I just want to point out, like, this is the type of shit that other people don't be catching. I'm not.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I saw the drums. I didn't see any of the other stuff.
Like, I'm not tooting my horn or no shit like that, but I be on some shit with this, like, because wait, what's the other pictures I had? I had some other pictures.
We even have an altar when the choosing ceremony happens, right?
The altar with the choosing ceremony, and it was also one of my clues about the
And Mrs. Liu's altar to her husband.
Mrs. Lou's altar to her husband.
And the funeral altar.
The funeral altar for her.
And the Father Cattry's
How they
altar.
place the stones around when you want to pick where you colony house or the town. They place stones around the shit, like, you know what I mean? And they standing by that big stone. They standing by that big stone, and it's like, yeah, I can't see it any other way. Like the stone and the flower itself. You know, even if you think like there are herbs on an altar as well. What's in these cigarettes here? Is it weed or is it tobacco? Both of those are herbal. So, I mean, either way you look at it, you could say I'm reaching. You could say all of that shit right there, but nobody catches shit like that. It's just my opinion. That's, you know, and I ain't hating on nobody. Like, do what you do. I'm hearing people out there like stealing my theories every single day. Like, I'm not even lying. I don't even pay any attention to that shit. Let them do them. I hope that you get a lot of views with this shit. I hope that it's worth it. But, you know, I know what's in your mind when you take something from somebody else is just a sign that you really don't believe in yourself.
Yeah, I do find it weird, actually, when people take someone else's theory and frame it as their own. I don't get the pleasure they get out of it.
Right, it's corny as shit. Like,
but I literally don't understand the pleasure.
And that was a bar right there. I don't even know if you heard that, but I didn't even hear it until you started talking. What's in your mind when you take something from somebody else is just a sign that you really don't believe in yourself. Woo, that's a bar right there. Yeah, but whatever. Anyway.
No, I liked it. Sorry. No, I did. I just didn't pick up on.
I didn't hear the bar until it was over, yo. I didn't mean to do that. But yeah, let's go in, man.
Maybe we should take some questions from the audience. We haven't done that for a while.
Absolutely, let's go.
So let's open it up, guys. If you want to ask a question, we will try and answer it.
Most altars have items that represent earth, air, fire, water.
Well, Luna, you know how there's a school called Elementary High School? When have you ever seen a school called something Elementary High School? It doesn't happen.
Well, I said the same thing, but I was educated that in small cities in America, and thank you for everybody out there that hopped in the comments on that. Small cities in America that don't have real big populations will put the elementary, kindergarten, and high school all together in one building.
Oh yeah, and I agree with that. It's the nomenclature. It's the naming of it as elementary high school.
Right.
They usually just call it the high school.
Right, and that's what I was saying in my video.
Or elementary and high school. They won't call it an elementary high school. So in my opinion, element is the clue here. So earth, air, fire, and water, I agree with you, sir. Oh no, it was Luna, wasn't it?
That was Luna.
I agree with you, Luna. Why did the Dead Crow not interest Fatima? I think the Dead Crow was all about Elgin. I think it was trying to wake Elgin up, personally.
I agree with that. I don't think that crow had anything to do, and that's why the characters keep saying that, to make us think that it did. Like Bacta says it first, and then Tilly says it as well. She was like, "Do you think that was a sign?"
Why have Elgin sleeping in the background? Why?
Right, and why?
I mean, it didn't do anything.
Right.
Did it contribute anything?
No.
Was his reaction particularly interesting?
They didn't show us what he was dreaming, so we don't know if he was getting any sound sleep.
We don't know what that was.
They didn't give us any of that. So it had to be, the bird had to be for him.
You've always got to try and think, I guess. For me, I always think, like, why would John Griffin include this? Frankly, I don't know. Maybe this sounds rude. I don't know. But generally speaking, I just think, what would a good writer do in this situation? Why would a good writer include this? Often I'm like, this seems like, frankly, it's because I put a lot of trust in John Griffin, where I'm like, this seems like bad writing because it's pointless. So I always just assume anything that seems like bad writing to me, or maybe not bad writing, but anything that seems like unnecessary or superfluous or just something that I would edit out myself, I'm like, oh, that's just John Griffin being clever.
Something that you pointed out to me today was like, blew my mind for real.
Oh, really?
Now, the house falling, I always looked at that as a Yellow Brick Road or a Wizard of Oz reference. The house falling, right? And the guy's name is Brick, like Yellow Brick Road. You know what I mean?
Good one. That's a good one. I always wondered why he was called Brick, actually.
Right, the house fell on
Yellow
brick.
Brick Road, yeah.
Right, but this Yeah, see, but
Does the
this,
house fall actual brick?
yeah,
It
because
does.
he was the one that
No,
got
no,
killed by
sorry.
the house.
In the Wizard of Oz, when it falls on the witch, is it on the brick itself?
No, it falls in the pasture.
Because
But
if it did, that would be so good.
now, you know what happens in the Wizard of Oz after the house falls on the witch? The Munchkins come out and present Dorothy with her death certificate. Yeah, it's very cryptic.
How random.
Yeah.
Again, like I would edit that out because I'm like,
What
what
does that?
purpose does this?
Well, it serves
Yeah.
a purpose to talk about, death records and birth records used to actually exist in the Bible.
Yeah.
Like, if you when you were born, they would take your grandmother's Bible and write your name up under your mom and dad's name.
Mm.
Or when your mom and dad got married, that shit's going in the Bible. You know what I mean? And then when they have a baby, their name goes. Matter of fact, there's some Bibles that you can buy today, old Bibles that still have the word, the spaces for your family tree inside of the Bible.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Right. And so in the late 1920s, early 1930s is when they had the the Great
1930s.
Depression.
Yeah.
The Great Depression.
Prohibition era.
Right. Prohibition era, the Great Depression. All of that is relevant to From as well. And so with the yellow brick road, but all right, let's get back to the part that blew my mind.
Yeah, please.
When you talked about Nikki dying and Brick dying, Brick, we first saw Brick crushed up under the house. Then next thing you know, he was okay. He was all good. And they was talking about eating pancakes and shit when they got up out of there. Everything was, they were chilling, joking. Then all of a sudden, he starts screaming and saying he was in pain, and then he spits up blood. Boom. Same shit with Nikki. She was cool. They pulled the bullet out. Everything was good. Mari did her thing. I think she reacted immediately. She jumped right into business and got down to business. I think she did well. And then all of a sudden, boom, she's yelling in pain and spitting up blood.
Yeah.
It's the exact same death scene.
So it's the hag. I believe that Tilly is the hag. She's probably the only mythical being that can pass as a human. I think she's about to possess Elgin, potentially. Although I thought he was the sea monster that going to be possessed by the sea monster, but maybe I'm wrong on that. But generally speaking, I think Tilly is sitting on the chest, crushing him. The only problem with this theory, and it could be instead the bone breaker boogeyman. Break bones.
Same for my grandmother, Saggy Star. My grandmother didn't get a birth certificate until she was like 15. She had to go back, get the birth certificate and like social security card and all of that. Social security card is nothing but your lot number. Somebody came in my comments arguing with me, saying that I was wrong about birth certificates being printed on the same paper stock as money.
Oh,
that's bullshit. I could show you. I don't know. I have several copies of my birth certificate. I actually keep one on me, and I can show you right now that it's printed on the same paper stock. Oh man, they come in my chat with it all the time.
I can't picture that person's mind. I can't picture it.
Yeah, like why would you just jump out the window and argue about a fact like that? They was like, well, you're wrong because birth certificates are just printed on regular stock. And I was like, yo, you're wrong. And what I did, I respectfully, replied like, well, maybe it's depending on the state that you're in, because I know mine's is printed on the same paper as money. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. I have several copies of my birth certificate for various reasons. Oh wow, yeah. Oh wow, yeah. So yeah, you go get that. Yeah, go get that.
I don't know how it works in America. I don't know how to do it.
If you have to get it from the state that you're born in, and if you don't, let's say you don't live there, it has to be like a mom, a dad, or your brother. Like a grandmom can't go get it for you.
Look, man, if AI saves the world, all I want it to do is get rid of all my admin. All the red tape, all the form filling, all that stuff that everyone has to do that makes every process feel like a nightmare.
Mhm.
I would love it if, like, you're like, I want to do an extension on my house. Like, I know you want to do something like that, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice if you just didn't have to
Have
fill
to
in all
worry
the
about
forms and permits and all that crazy
all
stuff?
of that forms and permits and stuff are forms of corruption.
Yeah,
Because if I own my
I
land,
tend to agree.
if I own my land, what are you telling me what I can and can't do with it for? That means I don't own it. So, yo, we about to be in here cooking on a whole nother level. I like what Daryl Seymour just said. He putting us right back where we need to be. Thomas is on a quest, as Ethan said.
Did he say that Thomas is on a quest?
Yes, he said Thomas is on a quest.
I need to go back and watch that then, because I thought Ethan said this is a quest that he needed to rescue Thomas.
No, he said Thomas is on a quest, and then
I think he's on a quest.
And
Is that
Jim
what he said?
Jim was like, "Yep." He's like, "I think he's on a quest." And Jim was like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, he's on a quest,
Thomas
and we have to
questing for?
save him, and that's how we get him
Well,
back."
Now I have to believe that Thomas is on a quest, because I personally think that everything Ethan says is true.
Yo, that's right there was the part that made me feel
So
sorry
Thomas
for
is on a quest.
Jim, though.
So Changeling Thomas.
Changeling Thomas is on a quest.
For what?
Well, not Changeling Thomas, the real Thomas.
The real Thomas who was switched with a changeling. But I think the baby that swapped with a changeling is also known as a changeling, conversely. Sometimes.
Yeah, because it is.
Because I guess they both become changelings.
Yeah.
Like
you changed them.
Yeah, they're both. It's like both were swapped.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
that's the part that had me feeling sorry for Jim, y'all. He went in the bathroom and cried.
Well, listen, the boogeyman. I believe the boogeyman is able to make phone calls, but I also think that he's been Stockholm syndroming Thomas for the last few years. That's what I think is going on. But what could he be questing for? Thomas, what are you questing for? I need to go back. What episode was this? Is this the breakfast scene when Jim cries? Was that when he says Thomas is on a quest?
Yes.
Wait, I can look this up right now.
Yes, indeed. Oh yeah, B Smoke. We gotta we gotta get back to From, because we're gonna be over here cooking. They're gonna shut this stream down. The shit I've got to say.
Oh god. Yeah, that's why I'm always a little bit concerned. But let me throw something out there. I believe that the boogeyman was originally Cain from the Bible. That's what the symbol is, with the F, the reverse F. It's mirrored because American Fromland is mirrored. And isn't it interesting that Cain supposedly died when his house collapsed? Now, that's interesting.
In the Bible, Cain died from a house collapsing on him?
Yeah, I think that's when he fakes his death and takes on a new name. And becomes Baal the bull god. And then he becomes the minor.
Oh, so this is a biblical theory?
This is I've got a whole biblical Eden section.
I have some too.
The dragon was originally Lilith, and the monsters are originally the Lilith.
Okay, so you do know that Lilith was originally Adam's wife, right?
Yeah. I mean, she refused to sleep with him, and then she
refused to let him get on top.
Yeah. So the metaphor,
right?
Apparently
she wanted to be always being on top. Yeah, she wanted to always be on top.
So
then she was slick enough to say the name of God, which Adam couldn't even pronounce that shit. He was unable to speak. He was unable to use his tongue to say that.
Maybe I need to research Lilith more, because, like, honestly, it was like right towards the end of my theory, I realized we went all the way back to the Bible, and then honestly, I don't find the Bible that interesting. You know, in terms from a historical standpoint.
Oh yeah, no.
You know, so I was, I didn't enjoy reading all these, and I didn't know what was relevant.
I think the Bible's one of the dopest stories ever written, hands down.
And I'm not denigrating the Bible. I'm just saying I didn't, I much prefer reading about like Tudor history than like ancient biblical history.
Right. Okay.
That's what I mean. So I didn't find it as exciting. So I did a high level sort of, but if I studied it more closely, and I'm in this for the fun. If I don't find it fun, I'm not going to do the research.
I think the Bible was probably like my first esoteric mission. Like that was my first esoteric mission. Oh yes indeed, yes indeed. So yeah, we're gonna rock for about 10 more minutes, y'all. We'll give y'all an hour to go ahead and get ready.
Yeah.
And you can do as you feel. Maybe watch. Yeah, the Bible has so many stories, but when you look at it as this one cohesive project, it begins to take on a new world. And then when you start understanding like how different parts were written at different times. Even the beginning of the Bible was written later than everything else in it. So it was the last thing written and then put in the front. So there's so many. The Bible is probably, yeah. The Bible is definitely Tolkien, goddamn level writing, like even bigger, even higher.
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't all written by one man, right?
It wasn't written on one. Yeah, a whole bunch of people, and allegedly,
I can tell you why, to be honest, that I didn't particularly enjoy it. Is because when I was at school, there was this horrible teacher called Spine. His name was Mr. Bamford. He was bloody terrifying. Everyone was terrified of him. He was like the scary teacher at our school, and he taught us scripture. So I guess I didn't enjoy those lessons very much, which has biased me against.
Did you go to a Catholic school?
I went to a school whose religion was Church of England, maybe.
Church of England.
Might be
Okay.
Church of England. I can't remember. To be honest. I wasn't. I'm not a particularly religious person. I would consider myself more spiritual. I think there's something there. I just don't know who's right about it. You know.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I can get with that. I can get with that. Because nobody. The old saying goes, nobody came back to tell anybody. You know what I mean? At the same time, I like to respect all religion. I like to respect everybody's religion.
So long as they respect us, you know. If there's some religion which is like, everyone who's not part of our religion is subhuman, and we can kill them at our mercy, for example.
Oh yeah,
that you can't respect.
Then it's up. Yeah, it's up automatically.
Like religions that the aspects of religion that insist on female genital mutilation. Like I read a horrific statistic somewhere that 89% of women in Egypt have experienced. You know, that's basically all of them.
Yeah.
You know, so
where they cut the labia off and all that.
I don't. You know, I can't.
They have several different
blanket support to every version of every religion, because it's some of them are truly evil. Some of the things they do, and that's not to denigrate every aspect of that religion, but I can't. You know.
I can't get behind
but I get the sentiment of what you're saying.
Right? Like my children, my sons, my male children are not circumcised. Like I'm not gonna take and cut anything that the Creator and the Most High put on you. He put it there for a reason. And then just doing the research behind it, it is an actual organ inside of the person that they cut off. You know what I'm saying? Which is very
Well, there's a big.
Oh yeah, and they come with a lot of information. Right? Because I've heard Christians talk about transgender children being mutilated, which I can say, okay, that's one thing. But how do you feel about circumcision? I'm not touching it either. That's why I said it like I said it. That's why I said it just like I said it. I said it just like the way I said it for a reason. I'm not going to touch the topic, but I want you to sit there and think about that for a minute. It's just that, you can't have it both ways.
I heard that in the United States, it's pretty much.
Yeah, it is.
In Europe,
in the United States, definite. It's almost like they threaten you. They threaten parents. If you don't get your child circumcised,
they can't hear us.
Oh, the connection's going bad. Oh yeah, man, we know. Okay. Oh, y'all there? She said the universe shut us down. We still here, or what's good? Can you hear us? I did not tell y'all this was shit. Didn't I tell y'all this was going to get clipped?
Oh, we're back. You are back. Better.
Okay, I told y'all this was going to get clipped. Didn't I tell you they was going to try? We down here talking about Sodom and Gomorrah and shit now. No, respect to everybody's religion, respect to everybody's creed, and I don't judge people based on their race or any of that kind of stuff. I judge people based on what they do and their merit. That's how I choose to look at people, based on what they do. I think it's low IQ to judge someone based on something that they can't have any control over. That's just me.
I totally agree with you. I don't know. I've had a really half a decade. In my life, I'm trying to find way I'm trying to live as peaceful a life as possible. I'm about prejudging people, being open. And actually, I'm trying to learn more about forgiveness. Oh, they can't hear me again. I'm trying to talk about. You know what? I've lost my train of thought. Anyway, I think we're losing them again.
Yeah, we're gonna hop off here, y'all. We had a great live. This was a great live. Me and Taran got to do this live in person. We might go live tomorrow night as well. We might go live on Monday afternoon. We might go live for the next couple days. Just give at least for an hour. But we've been rocking out for a good 2 hours now. So
Has it been that long?
yes,
Wow.
indeed. I tell you. So we're gonna rock out and let y'all go. Y'all go ahead and do your thing. Get ready for the show. The episode will be airing in about an hour. And yes, indeed. Thank you for being honest and transparent. I love it. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what PM said face reveal. I don't know what's going on with the internet, but I told you when we get hot and heavy and get to cooking like this, it will clip your live stream. Somebody will make a phone call and say, "Yeah, shut them boys down."
It's John Griffin with the CIA connection.
Oh shit! Can
I say one thing before we drop off? I do think that actually the showrunners might want this show solved. I actually think they're actively rooting for the people theorizing to get it right. I think they want people to guess it. And then I think they want us to keep watching because we care about the characters. And that's what I think some of their interviews recently have been saying. They're saying, we want people to start following the theories. We want people to start seeing all the clues we're leaving and understanding them. And we want you to keep watching because the clues don't tell you what happens to the characters. They only tell you a bit more about how this world came to be. So that's it. Yeah.
Started the live. Go ahead.
I can't remember how you wrap up. All right, we're gonna catch you in another video. That's all for the live stream. Peace. How's that? I don't know. That was worse than the last time. Sorry, guys.
Give me that mic.
Wait, when are we getting the Taran invitation?
We're gonna do that next live. I gotta practice tomorrow. We'll go live tomorrow, and yeah, y'all gonna get the Taran impersonation. I got you. Just a little something to think about while we wait on the next episode. That's all for the live stream this evening. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.